Yes, good morning students. Today we will start the chapter 11, force and pressure. So first of all we understand what is the meaning of force. So we can see the force when a push or pull is applied to an object is called force. A force can change the state of an object from rest to motion and vice versa. That we already discussed in the Zoom class. To let a force come into play, two or more objects must interact with each other. These are the pictures showing that the bowler or the goalkeeper interact with the ball to stop it. Here the hockey stick interact with the ball to put it in the motion. In the next case, the bowler catches or a fielder catches the ball and their hand interact with the ball. So from this we can say that at least two objects must interact for a force to come into play. So these are the various pictures showing that for the force to apply there must be a interaction. As a man standing behind the stationary car. Here the car is stationary, it is not moving. It will remain in rest until this man pushes this car or applied the force on the car. Here in the second case, this man applying force on the car. So the car start moving. Also in this case, who is pushing whom? Both the person pushing or pulling each other, means they are interacting with each other. So from these examples we can say that at least two objects must interact for a force to come into play. Next, this is the easy definition of force. Push or pull on an object is called force. In the activity 1.1 we have various activities and you have to write the whether it is pushing or pulling is there. Next we have very important part, that is characteristic of force. Let's explore the force by knowing its characteristic. The first important characteristic of force is when two forces act in the same direction, the net result force on an object is the sum of two forces. Consider the example given in the picture, the two person applying force on the same box. So this person applying force in this direction, the second person is applying force also in this direction. So both the forces are in same direction. So if there is same direction, then we have to add them. So let's take an example. If we have two boxes, forces 5 Newton and 10 Newton respectively moving in the same direction, then what will be the net force? The net force is addition of 2. 5 Newton plus 10 Newton gives 15 Newton. Okay. Next we have the second case over here. Look at the picture carefully. Both the person applying force in opposite direction. This person moving this box in this side and this person moving this box in this direction. So what will be the net force in this case? As we take the example, if two person applying force 4 Newton and 6 Newton opposite direction, then what will be the net force? So in case when there is a difference between the two forces, we have to subtract it. So 6 Newton minus 4 Newton gives 2 Newton. So the net force that is 2 Newton will move along the higher value of the force, means its direction is same as that of 6 Newton. Other characteristic, the force always has a direction in which the applied force or measured force of its strength or magnitude, means higher one. The effect of force may alter when the direction of magnitude of force is changed. The effect of more than one force being applied, means if we have more than one force in the same direction, then we have to add. The two forces are acting upon each other having equal magnitude and in opposite direction, the net force is 0. Let's take an example. If we have a box like this person applying force in this direction is 50 Newton. The other person applying force in this direction is also 50 Newton. Then what will be the net force? The net force will be 0 because 50 Newton is cut by 50 Newton and direction is opposite. So opposite direction and value is same, so the net result is 0, means this box will not move. Okay? If the direction is same, then what will be the net result? The net result will be 100 Newton. Okay? And Newton is the unit of force. Okay? N is for Newton. Force can bring different effects of object position, size and shape. Means force can change the position, size and shape of the object. And this is the formula. Force is mass into acceleration. F for force, M for mass of object that we want to displace, and A is the acceleration of that object. Calculating force has a formula. F is equal to ma. Next we have these examples. Look at these examples carefully. Stretch a rubber band. Firstly we stretch the rubber band, then when we remove the force, it gain its shape again. First, in the second case, we applying force on the sponge. When we release force, it gain its size. Next, when we squeeze a spring, its size decreases, but when we release the force, its size increasing. From these examples, we conclude that the shape of an object can be altered if force is applied. Next we have very important topic, types of force. Generally we have two types of forces, contact and non-contact. As the word says contact. Now what is the meaning of contact? The kind of force are applied only when two or more comes in contact with each other. Means the two bodies coming in contact with each other, there must be a contact. But non-contact, there may or may not be any contact between the objects. The kind of force are applied when objects do not come into contact, means there is no contact between the two objects. Like contact forces, muscular force, frictional force, these are contact forces, means two bodies must be in interaction with each other. But in case of magnetic field force, what we have to do? There is a no interaction. Gravitational force, there is also a no interaction. Electrostatic force, there is a no interaction between the charges. So these is the difference between contact and non-contact force. Next we have the very important part. The SI unit of force is Newton. So like distance is measured in meter, as the force is measured in Newton. Next we have force can change the state of motion of an object. The motion of an object means when a body is in motion, then by applying force we can stop this. Okay. An object is said to be in motion if moving in a certain speed at a particular direction. Then we said it is in motion. If the object is at rest, means it is not changing its position with respect to observing time. So the speed is 0. That we already discussed in grade 7. When an object starts moving, it means that position change with respect to observation point. In order to move an object one place to another, the force is required. Means like this toy truck, if we push this toy truck from this side, then it moves in this direction. So by applying force, we can change the rest to motion. So these are the points written. Next, force can change the shape of the object. How force can change the shape of the object? Like we have the various example here. These are the example shows that force can change the shape of the object. Okay. Next, contact and non-contact we will discuss in detail. Okay. A force can change the state of the object, that we have already discussed. The state like these three examples, rubber band, sponge, spring, that tells about the shape of the object. Next we have various activities. Force can change the shape of the object, like the example pressing it down with your hands. The pressing the dough is an example of change in shape. ठीक है? Sitting on the seat is also example of shape. These are the various examples that tells about the shape change of the object. Now contact and non-contact forces we will discuss in detail. Let's discuss the types of forces in detail. First we have the contact force, first type. So contact force is muscular force. Muscular force, as you can say here, all the person applying the muscular force. So here there must be a contact with each other. Okay, movement of food along the food pipe is also example. Animal can also exist muscular force. Next is a frictional force. These are the example of muscular force. Next, frictional force. Now what is frictional force? Frictional force is a force that come in existence when two bodies come in contact, and its direction is always opposite to the motion. If I have this box is moving in this direction. Okay, then what about the frictional force? Frictional force is in opposite direction, and frictional force is come when the two bodies in come contact with each other, like this table and this box in contact with each other, then there is a frictional force. Next we have the example that we already discussed, motion in this direction, friction in this direction, and these two boxes are in contact with each other. So friction is a contact force. Next we have the air resistance. Air resistance is also example of contact force. Okay. Next we have the non-contact force. As we know that magnetic force, what happen in the case of magnet? If we bring the north pole toward the south pole, then they interact with each other or attract. If we bring north to north, then there is a repulsion. So without touching each other, they applying force on each other. So it is a non-contact force, magnetic force. Electrostatic force. Electrostatic force is also if positive charge brings to the near to positive charge, then they repel each other, means they applying force on each other. If negative is there, then also a repulsive force. If no force, then neutral. If there is negative and positive charge, they attraction. So electrostatic force also applying force without contact. So it is a non-contact force. Next, gravitational force. The gravitational force always a attractive force. It also applying force on the object without in contacts. Like an example, gravity is a property exhibited by every object present in the universe. As you can see, if we throw a ball, then it always goes downward due to the attractive force of earth. So this is all about the force, the types of force, contact, non-contact. In the next video, we will discuss about the pressure. Okay then.